My name's Trey Jones, and we're here at the 2019 Olympic qualifier, Florideah Swampfest. This is the third year we've done it. And, oh, he lost all the pallets out of the back. Big boy. Of course, I let him use my truck and trailer. He lost all the pallets out of the back of it, of course. We're here at this mess again. It's getting pretty out of hand at this point. We got all the sponsors hanging up their banners, you know, making it look super good. We're very professional here. We're made a bunch of ramps out of pallets and a bunch of other garbage. Made some jumps. Made a rainbow rail over a swamp. Made an obstacle course over a swamp. First highlight we have is this orange safety cone, so we make sure that nobody runs into these things when they're riding.
Safety first out here, right?
Yes. Insurance policy is through the roof on this place. It's bulletproof. No, I guess the first thing we can talk about is the Odyssey Vortex. Obviously, I've done a loop every year of Swampfest, and this year we decided to add in a horizontal loop. What's pretty funny is I was talking to Nate Wessel about this, and he was like, man, Taj wanted me to build him one of those way back in the day. And I told Odyssey that, and they were like, well, how about we put up $1,000 for the first person to get through it, and we'll have Taj make a little animation of it. And I was like, yes, let's do that. This needs to be closed off during the jam. We're gonna open it up at 3 o'clock. First person to get around, or wait, I think it's 3 o'clock. I don't know. We're gonna open it up at some point in the day. First person to get around this thing gets $1,000. Let's go take a look inside of it. So, this is the Vortex. The idea is to come in like this, go up, go around the curve, and exit back out this way. So next thing we got up is the Source gap to rail. They came to me and they were like, hey, we want to do a gap to rail over a pit of water. Not water in it yet, but there will be. We got a bank on this side, a bank on this side, and there will be a pit of water in the middle with a down rail. So either gap to rail, grind up, whatever. Bring your A game. Do some cool stuff. We got the GT obstacle over here. It is a Mad Mike influenced down rail wedge gap thing. Not really sure what to call it, but yeah, super rad. Funny story about this sub rail. So I heard through the grapevine that Dave Frymouth was wanting to come to Swampfest, and he said I'll come to Swampfest, but you got to build me a sub rail. I said, done. And now I built the sub rail, and now he's shitting his pants because he's realizing that he actually has to do something on it. And I made it like the most terrifying thing ever because the trannies on it are so steep. But Frymouth, see what you're made of, dude. Right, Brian? That's right.
Midwest, baby.
So recently, Albie's BMX mail order was on a trip to Florida, and instead of renting a van, they just bought an old shitty van off of Craigslist for like $300 or something like that. They used it for their trip, and they left it at Chad DeGroot's shop. Flip hit me up, and he's like, hey, I want to give you the van for Swampfest. Do anything that you want with it. So we have done everything that we could possibly do to this van, and it still cranks up, and it still runs, and the AC still blows cold. You come up to the inside of the van to a kicker with a wedge that goes down the windshield. A guy on a motorcycle actually did a backflip on this thing. It was crazy. And there is a vert wall on this side of it. But yeah, huge shout out to Albie's for donating the van to the cause. And if anybody wants to buy a van, hit me up. Somebody said it. I don't know who it was. Somebody was like, man, you should just build like one good quarter pipe at Swampfest. And I was like, okay. So I built one 8-foot tall, 10-foot radius quarter pipe that's just like the best thing to air out of. But you got to go into the gator mouth in order to air out of it. So you go in, you can air out, or you can carve over the gator mouth. And shout out to Dave McDermott for painting that up for me. Sick. Yeah, everybody seems to be very concerned with the teeth that stick out. So when you're going in, you got to dodge the, can't get bit by the gator, man. This thing's sick. So the very first year that I did Swampfest, we had an open loop. And I thought, nobody will do it. And all of a sudden, everybody did it. And I was like, all right, well, I need to make it bigger for the next year. So last year, it was 16 foot tall, and I figured, nobody's gonna do this. Then everybody did that. So I was like, this year, we really gotta do something out of control. And Ryan Corrigan hit me up and he said, hey, you should pay me to come build you a pallet loop. Yeah, you can come out and build a pallet loop. It's like 13 and a half feet tall. And I honestly don't know if anybody's gonna do it because it's really crazy. Some guy's in there, he's hanging up his banner. He's some local guy, I told him, yeah, man, go for it. Do whatever you want. He's kind of crazy, but yeah, the loop is it's directional, so you can go in. You go in and you go to the right. Oh, wait, is it right? Yeah, go in, go to the right on this loop, straight into going to the left on this loop. So no matter what, you're doing a loop both ways. And it is gonna be nuts. It is gonna be insane. It's gonna be absolutely insane, and I am so stoked for this thing. All right, so we're here at Lake Swampfest. There's 15 alligators in this lake. No, I'm just kidding. I hired Cody Diggs and Ryan Herbach and Dave King to come down and build some jumps, and they went insane. There's 2 lines this year, a little bit of a smaller line. They built a little bit of a bigger line for people. And there is water everywhere. It looks like the Florida Keys out here. There is water all over the place. And I hope I see a lot of big time dudes go in the water. I would love that. Like if I watched like Hucker or Anthony Napolitan or someone like that, just like go in the water, it would be the funniest thing ever. I would die. Water's gonna claim a lot of people. So this is the Shadow Coffin, the sacrifice. I don't know what it is. I don't know, but we got like a 5.5 foot tall lip to I don't even know how high the coffin is at that point. Maybe 9 or 10 feet, I would say, to a dirt landing. And I hopped up there the other day and I was like, all right, I'm good. No more of that. Hopefully I see all the new school kids doing their peg hard 180 things or whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be rad. Stoked. This is the backyard chasm from a bunch of the old backyard jams. I approached Stu Dawkins and I was like, hey Stu, what do you think about building the chasm at Swampfest? And he's like, yep, sounds good. So we're gonna put mud and water in this thing, and she's dirty 30 foot long, bigger than the Belmar. We'll see, man. I have no interest in jumping this thing at all. I literally have there's not one bit of me that wants to try to jump this thing, but I know there's a lot of people that are gonna want to prove themselves and try to go for it. And I would love to watch someone land right on the back of that and fall in the water. I think it's gonna be hilarious. But yeah, this thing is gonna be pretty nuts. It's not fully done yet. We got about 48 hours till the jam, and still got a lot of work to do. But over here, we have a buried car. Well, half buried. It's a roll-in. So it's a roll-in for the little kids' jumps. The Hallahans showed up, and they're like, what do you want us to do? And I said, I don't know, help us with the jumps. And within a day, they had this whole entire line built. So the Hallahans came out and they built a whole line for all the little kids. So they built an entire line in a day. Pretty crazy. Huge shout out to the Hallahans for all their help on this. That was super, super cool of them. So the next thing that we have behind us is the Sabrosa Swamp Rail. First year we had it just across a lake with some alligators in it. Last year we had it over a mud pit, and this year we have a 6 foot tall rainbow rail over a mud pit. This is 10 Sabrosa rails long, 2 longer than last year, so it's 80 feet in total. And yeah, I mean, this thing reaches about 6 foot, I would say. It's about 6 foot tall in the middle. It is gonna be hilarious. I'm so excited to watch people die on this thing. It is gonna be the funniest. I feel like this is one of the funniest things that happened last year, was just watching people try to grind this thing. Yeah, it's gonna be good. It's sketchy, it's awesome. Everything that is Swampfest, it's that. So, all right, so we're over here at the Monster Energy Scotty Crib obstacle course. Big boy lost more pallets. What happened? Me and Scotty talked about it, and we were like, dude, we gotta do an obstacle course this year. We gotta do the craziest one that we can possibly do. We'll do it over the mud. Yeah, it's out of control. So, it starts about here-ish, hop over the little V part. You go over the A-frame, over the monster truck tires, around the 180 curve wall ride, hit the American Ninja Warrior walls, up and over this pallet spine thing, and then things get heat up real quick. You have to do a tire ride up onto the van, and then you drop in and you do the hellacious tire ride, which it is pretty obscene. It comes down here, and you end up riding onto this 2x4, which is not sturdy. It is pretty out of control. And you ride across this thing, drop in, you got to clear a pallet double over some of the water down there, turn around, you got to climb the aggro crag on your bike without putting a foot down, drop in, do the leapfrog, hop, 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 up this, along the tire ride, and Scotty and his crew are building the last obstacle, which is going to be, as Scotty described it, some type of pallet seesaw, I believe. So there's Scotty right there. Hi, Scott. Yeah, it's gonna be wild, man. It is gonna be pretty out of control. It is gonna be nuts. So make sure that you are here on March 30th, and if you're not, I feel really bad for you because you're about to miss out on one hell of a party, because it is going to be very, 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 very fun.